Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Market Psychology 101, where we try to find value where there is fear and to be cautious where there's greed. If you like anything I say in today's video, you know what to do. Today, we are going to start off by looking at Bitcoin dominance. And the reason why is we've had this ascending trend line that we've been bouncing off of, riding up off of, and we just broke below it. So, what does that mean? I'm going to give my opinion on what I think that means. Now, this isn't too dissimilar to when we ended the bull run of 2017. Now, you see at the bottom of the screen, so January of 18. The 8th of January 18 is when we started to sell off and sell off hard. I'll never forget it because I had so many unrealized profits that I wish I would still have to this day. But we sold off hard. It was not fun. But as we came back, we rode this Bitcoin dominance. I know this trend line's not perfect, but we rode this Bitcoin dominance all the way back up into the consolidation phase of the last bull market. Okay, right here, if you look at all this support we made here, or I guess you could say resistance at first, but then it became support because it became support over here if you just look to your left. When we broke below that support, April 21, to me, that signaled the end of the true Bitcoin bull run. And I'll show you that over here. April 21 was up here. Okay. That was the end of the real bull run. And I know we went down a bit and then went back up. Really no difference in your Bitcoin gains. And most of the altcoins did most of their running in here. Not in here. I know there's a couple, but for the majority, it was here. So I consider this the real bull run. So we can try to decipher some patterns, if you will. Now, macroscopically, part of the reason people have been talking about Bitcoin dominance is just it's been riding this long descending trend line down. Okay, if you just draw a point from up there to where it touched, and I know I try to get as close as I can. Here in December of 2020, you could say, well, it's going down and maybe Bitcoin dominance is going to touch that line again at some time. And people have noted that we've been riding this line up. And so people are wondering, are we going to touch here and then start going down? And I didn't believe that. And you can look in my other videos where I said, I believe we are going to round out here. And this is why. Look how late we touched this Bitcoin dominance line in the last bull run. Okay, that was January of 21. You want to know what Bitcoin was at in January 21? It was almost done with its mega bull run. It was right here. Look at the bottom. We were up here. We had one more leg up and that was it. And so I don't want Bitcoin dominance to touch that trend line too soon. I want this back here, time to accumulate. In my opinion, and this is just, I'm going to go over this real quick just by drawing fibs. And I drew these fibs a little backwards. Yes, you can draw from the low to the high here and it shows a different story. And we can do that in another video. But something to note when you draw it from the low to the very high from before, you notice that Bitcoin, it got stuck around the 0.5 quite a bit. And anytime it was between the 0.5 and the 786 was a great time to accumulate before we blasted off. I think it's possible we just did that. Now look at this fib. I drew it from the very bottom to the previous top, or at least as close as I could. That we're getting stuck around that 0.5 area. That this is a lot like 2019 when we ran up, hit the 0.5, bounced around for a bit. And once we broke the 382, boom, we were on our way out. Yes, some people maybe looked for confirmation of breaking the very high. I would say as soon as we break above the 0.5, especially the 382, that's your go signal, especially when you're seeing bodies and not wicks, okay? So from here on out, for me personally, I'm looking for value in Bitcoin and altcoins between the 0.5 and the 786. Yes, we had a COVID crash that dang near wicked all the way down. Are we going to get something like that again? My guess is no. I know there's recession possibilities, so you never know. Maybe we do come down here. And as far as these buy zones and mega buy zones, again, guys, this is just for me personally. None of this is financial advice. I'm actually going to change those around a little bit. So please don't try to copy anything I'm doing. This is just to help me learn along with you guys, and something just about investing and trading in general. Too many people get locked up into their predictions, and you don't want to predict as much as you want to have a plan and react to when things meet your plan. Now, because these numbers, these trends change every day, every week, every month, we have to alter our plan a little bit sometimes, every day, every week, every month. Now, long term investing strategy, I try to make it less stressful. So, if we have to alter it every month a little bit, that's fine. And I don't have to alter my buy and mega buy zone too much, but it's pretty close. So, again, you're going to make your own decisions here. And also do note that this isn't permanent for me either. I'm going to be changing that pretty soon. My goal with having these zones, just to explain that to you, is sometimes when a asset hits the 618 or the 786, it can bounce. It can, you might be waiting to buy at that level, and it just bounces, shoots up, and you miss that opportunity. I wanted to give myself some leeway to get it before it absolutely bottoms, because it is truly hard to buy bottoms and time tops of when to sell. It's really hard to do that. So my goal is to give myself a little bit of leeway. I don't have to be perfect. I'm not trying to trade. But guys, if you notice here, if you're looking to sell at the 382, boom, it wicked there once and that was it. It almost wicked there again. So even if you had a bot to sell your stuff, it was just that one time. If you were looking to do it yourself with your own fingers, you probably would have missed it. So it's okay to give yourself some leeway. And it's hard to sell the exact top and buy the exact bottom. And that's why we do that. Anyways, sorry for the little bit of the rant there. But back to Bitcoin dominance. So I'm glad it did this. I really am, because I'm hoping that we are going to chop around in here. Maybe it's going to test this, what is now support zone that used to be resistance. I would be very worried if it were to fall below this line. And again, I'm just making comparisons to back here. Notice how this level, this line right here, let's just draw that out. It goes back a ways, actually. I know it's not perfect. It doesn't need to be. But this line back here, again, this was the 2014 bull run. When we finally got above it, we consolidated for a bit. We touched it. We went up and touched the descending Bitcoin dominance trend line. Now, this trend line wouldn't have existed until we touched it. It's really because we've had a lot of time after. And then right here, remember what I said, we were practically done. April of 21, where was Bitcoin? April 21 is at the very top. And that's when I plan on being done. So all things being equal, and it doesn't have to, nothing has to play out the same, but it's going to be interesting if it does. If we are to get below this line, let's say we play out similar, where we chop around, touch Bitcoin dominance like we did here, maybe that's the signal that we have one more leg up. So we touch the line, go below, and that might signal, hey, we have one more leg up, time to sell, boom, things crash. Maybe. Here's where a problem with that comes into play, and some of you might already be screaming at your phone or TV. Look how it played out here. Okay, this was the top of the bull market at the end of 2017. Now things are different, okay? And sometimes, I've talked about this before, we can get our brains wrapped up too much into patterns and things repeating, and it doesn't have to. So I'm even taking all this with a grain of salt, but I'm also taking it as something like, this will be interesting, and this is something I'm going to keep my eye on and see what it does. Because when we did break below this whole area in 2017, We still had a lot further to go. Okay. Now, look how violent this move was, by the way. I remember getting into crypto in 2017. It was somewhere in the middle of the year, it's around July. But just, I mean, look at December alone, how much it dove right there. That's crazy. Or look here, we had the final leg up in Bitcoin at that time. I've shown you that before. And then, boom, to May of 21. Okay, where were we in May of 21? Have I gone over that yet? May of 21. Yeah, we were just bottoming. And then we had another leg up to November of 21. Let's just see where that is. November of 21. So right here. So we bottom, chopped around. So again, this going up and down doesn't always have to line up with what Bitcoin price is or isn't doing. But I am looking for possible patterns. And if this were to be anything similar like what happened before, are we in this phase of where we were in January of 2020? See where we broke below here, January 2020 to March of 2020. You guys remember what happened in March 2020? That was the COVID crash. So January 2020, where were we? We were kind of in this phase here. And then obviously March. So who knows? Again, dominance and price doesn't have to be correlated. But by the time we broke underneath this ascending trend line, that was January 2020 to April of 21. So that's a year and 3-4 months. Yes, I know we had that double top over here, so you can add another, 6 months to that. You can say, hey, maybe the true top's going to be, 18 to 21 months away. Sure. But I'm going to be looking at most of the stuff happening in here. And if it's going to play out the same, you would say that, maybe we have 14 months, because like January 2020, April 21. Yeah, that's 14, 15 months. Where would that put us? All things being equal. Okay, so right here we're at the end of December. I guess you could say, December, January. So it'd be March or April of 25. Oh my God, I'm way out there. April of 25. So I'm going to draw a line here just to remind myself. Just do March there. I'll draw a red line. Yeah, I think I'll stick with red just in case. But yeah, does this mean we have about that much time left? Who knows? We'll see. But it is just something I thought was interesting. A lot of other things in the market today. Yeah, Bitcoin's gone down a little bit. But guys, again, if we draw a fib from the bottom to the previous top, look at this. We're just riding the 0.5. I would expect us to go down to the 618. That's 36,000 as of now. We could always go higher. And, maybe we go down to the 786, something around 27,000. So if we do get below the 618, I will be very happy, and I might be buying. Just kind of like back here, we rode the 0.5. When we did get underneath the 618 to the 786, that was a great time to buy, and that was your last best time to buy, unless of course you caught anything in here, but that was really quick. You had under a month to do that, just a few weeks. If we did get any sort of flash crash like that under the 786, that's why I have a mega buy zone. Anything under this 27,000, at least just judging by how things were the last time, might be a great opportunity to buy. So who knows? Maybe we're just going to hang around the 0.5 for a bit. Maybe with the ETF news, maybe we go a little bit higher. A lot of people have been calling for 48, 50,000, and this is why. That's right on the 382. I've shown you guys before. uh, Things are about to look really crazy on here, but bear with me. The pi cycle, Bitcoin high low. Look, this called the last couple highs and dang near the lows. I mean, not that that was a bad opportunity to buy. The reason I have this though is look where this long moving average was. That hit the 14,000 level here. Where is it right now? It's at around 58, 59,000, 60,000 if we give it more time. So are we going to hit that same long moving average that we did in 2019? That'll be interesting. And that'll be really close to the 236, oddly enough. So that will mean, if that happens, that things this time are a little bit different as far as fibs go. As far as moving average, we'll have to alter our plan a little bit. I think I would have to alter the fibs too and go from there. So, guys, it's just something I want to impress upon you with today's video is it's okay to change your plans. It's okay to alter them a little bit because crypto, stocks, prices, everything changes day to day, week to week, month to month. And sometimes we have to tweak our plan. Now, again, you should have a plan as far as, how you're going to react to when things meet your plan, whether that's an opportunity for a long-term buy or an opportunity to have a really profitable sell. We go through different indicators and signals on the RSI, and other indicators show when things can be a good opportunity to buy. But I just thought this was interesting. With everything else, the S&P and the Dow, they're doing their things, just slowly grinding up. Hard to short markets like that. And, with as far as fear and greed goes, at least with stocks, we're in extreme greed right now. We're starting to get up into uncharted territory. With crypto, we're still in greed. We haven't hit extreme greed yet, and that's why I think we might all of a sudden get a crazy move. This has been the last year. You see how we're kind of hovering and accumulating here? I think it's lining up for January ETF month for some crazy stuff to happen. What that's going to be, I don't know. Are we just going to hang around the 0.5 like I showed you and fall back down? That wouldn't be too dissimilar from what happened last time, that we hung around the 0.5 and then shut it down for a bit. Is that going to happen? Or are we possibly getting ready to go up to the 236, that long moving average? These are interesting times right now. We're in the mid 70s. We're right on the precipice of extreme greed. When we get above 75, are we going to go to 95? I don't think so, but I could see something. I could see us topping out around 85, 90 in there, but we will see. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today on Bitcoin dominance, some of the fibs I drew you, and kind of what that may or may not mean. If you are new to my channel, just a couple rules of thumbs for me. One of the biggest ones is I think time in the market is more important than timing the market. And anytime we are at yearly highs and we're overbought on the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, I personally would rather wait on the sidelines. If you notice here, the RSI is going below 50. I didn't talk about this. When it goes below 50 and becomes oversold, look at this. When we were oversold and oversold even more, price moves sideways, if not up a little bit. When we become oversold next time, I don't think we're going to be back down to 25. I would not be surprised if we were at somewhere around this 35 range. We'll see. You never know. But if price is still moving up every time we are oversold, that'll be interesting. Now, If we do become oversold and it's even more oversold, I'm going to become skeptical, because a lot of times when we go from being very oversold to less, that second time the price can tend to move lower. So how oversold we get on the daily is going to be very interesting to me. And as far as the weekly, if we just take a look at that, we're not oversold too often. But notice how when we double tap it, triple tap it, we can go lower. Just like I was talking about, it's not the depth of how oversold you are. But when we are trending down, I get worried. As we trend up, usually there's one more dump, and then boom, we start the blast off. But as we look at the weekly, you can also look at it as like, well, anytime we're under the 50 on the RSI tends to be decent. Now here we're at the top of that last mega bull market, but when we were in this sell-off phase, I personally don't like to buy and sell-offs, catch any falling knives. But when we are in accumulation phase, I feel like there's more confirmation. And this was, I would have, by the way I invest, I would have had 3 great opportunities to buy in Bitcoin and altcoins. And I'm looking for that to happen again. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video on Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance. Please feel free to like and subscribe. And again, this is just for entertainment, and it's my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. So you got to do what's best for you. Make a plan, consult a financial advisor. And my channel, I want it to be geared towards people who are new, who are thinking of doing some medium to long-term investing, possibly dipping their toes in the crypto, which is more of a medium-term strategy, because when Bitcoin does run up, you do want to sell here because it's way more volatile. So that's why people like myself in today's video can sometimes get a little wrapped up in predictions or patterns, and I try my best not to. So I'm reacting, predicting, increasing my time in the market, so I notice the better opportunities to buy, but you also have to know your better opportunities to sell as well. Anyways, hope you enjoyed today's video. None of it's financial advice, and we're just trying to find value where there's fear, and right now there's a lot of greed. So I myself am being cautious. That'll be all for today. Take care, everybody.